Hi, good afternoon. It's Allie. I'm a Christian health and fitness coach for anyone who is new. Sorry, I'm just getting this ready. Um, if you're watching for the first time, today I'm going to be making one of my favorite recipes with you, and it's not just my favorite, it's a family, friends, and even a party favorite. And that's a black bean salad with corn, red bell pepper, and avocado in a lime cilantro vinaigrette. So besides it being delicious, what I love about it is it's easy and fairly quick, especially if you have made the recipe before and you're familiar with it. There's no cooking involved. The ingredients are something that you have on hand, or at least it's something that I have on hand, and it stays in the fridge nicely for several days, and it's a big, portion, so you can make several meals out of it throughout the week. So first, what you're going to need for this recipe is you're going to need a fairly large bowl. Then you're going to need 2 cans of black beans. So I look for cans that have no salt added to it. So I have 2 black bean cans and then a can of corn, again, no salt added. And then what I do is I wash that off first. So I ended up already doing that already, but I just put it in one strainer here, the black beans and the corn. So I'm just going to dump that in. And then next, you're going to add your bell pepper. So I chopped up one of the bell peppers just to make it a little bit quicker, but this is a fairly large red bell pepper. I've got one more right here that I'm going to chop up. So this is a recipe that my mom started making about 5 years or so ago, maybe even before that, around the time that I went plant-based. And she might have made it at a party and people seemed to enjoy it, and knowing that I was plant-based, she shared it with me, or I had it before. But when she told me the recipe, part of it included 9 tablespoons of oil, and then there was also 2 tablespoons of sugar. So when she told me that, I was shocked. 9 tablespoons of oil. So with being a whole foods plant-based diet, I follow a diet based on what plant-based doctors have talked about, and they talk about no oil. And so when she told me 9 tablespoons, I was like, Mom, you don't need that many tablespoons of oil. Like, cut it out. You don't need any of it. You don't need the sugar. It's going to be delicious without it. And at first she was reluctant of cutting out all the oil. She had already cut out some of the oil after the first time she made it because it was too oily. But slowly and surely she kept cutting more and more out and realized that you really don't need any of the oil in it, and that it tastes just as good, if not better, because it doesn't have all the oil. And then of course it's going to be healthier and not as many calories too. So this is just one example of a recipe that I have modified or helped my mom modify to make it more nutritious and healthier. And so if you've got recipes that call for a lot of oil or sugar, try reducing some of it, or just keep cutting back slowly and see for yourself how much of a difference it makes. Yeah, I don't do any oil. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up some onion. So the original recipe called for, I think, like 2 small shallots, but I use onion. A lot of times we'll use the sweet onion, but the purple onion is more colorful, and it also has different antioxidants or different nutrients than a regular onion. They have similar characteristics, but there's definitely some difference. So I'm not going to put a ton of raw onion in there because otherwise that's just too oniony for my taste. So just put in, I guess, however much onion you desire. I'll put in a little bit more. And again, you can use shallots, or you could use purple or just a sweet onion, whatever you prefer or whatever you have on hand. We've used all of them. So I'm gonna put about this much onion in, not even like a half. Okay, next we're gonna put in 3 cloves of garlic. So I already peeled them, and I've got my Pampered Chef garlic press. These are super handy. I got it from my sister as a gift because I was using hers a lot. And I ended up putting it on my website in my shop as under one of my favorite products, just because whenever you cook, especially with whole foods, plant-based recipes, I swear all of them start off with sauteing onion and garlic together. So I don't know, it just makes it a lot quicker. So putting in 3 cloves of garlic. Okay, next I'm going to put in a teaspoon of salt. So again, the recipe called for 2 teaspoons of salt. I don't do a ton of salt in my diet, but if I do, I choose the salt that is iodized just because it's a nutrient that you need, and sometimes in a whole foods plant-based diet you can kind of be more deficient in. So I cut it back from the 2 teaspoons to just 1 teaspoon. If when you have the meal you want it a little saltier, then I guess you could just pour that directly in your food. Next, I'm going to take 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So again, that can be kind of to taste because it does give it more of a kick. Then I'm going to zest a lime. So I have a little handy dandy zester here. Something I think I either got on Amazon or Bed Bath & Beyond, like $15 or so. So I did wash off this lime. If you're gonna zest a lime or a lemon, I recommend washing it off first. So I'm just gonna do probably close to the whole lime because it does add a really nice flavor to it. And then we're going to cut the lime and squeeze in the juice from it. So you can kind of see the shavings here. I'm just going to dump that in. And I've got a lemon juice or a lime squeezer as well, which I love because I use lime in like most of my dishes as well. It just makes it super quick and easy. All right, now the last thing I think that we need to do is add in cilantro. So again, if cilantro isn't something you like, I know there's definitely a handful of people out there who don't like cilantro, including my grandma. She thinks it tastes like soap. So if you don't like cilantro, then definitely, just cut it out. It's not going to make that much of a difference, but it gives a nice little coloring and flavor for those who like it. So the recipe I think called for 1/2 cup of cilantro. That's too much cilantro for me. I don't like that much. So I'm just taking a handful and just kind of chopping it up. Again, this is something that you could add more to your own like personal dish that you serve out. All right, that looks about right for me. Show you the bowl, how it's looking here. Starting to get some color. Okay, now the last thing we're going to do is we are going to mix this up. You'll see all the color. All right, and then what I do is another thing I love about this recipe is it's very versatile. So you can make this with so many different meals. I personally love it over a sweet potato, but you can also put it over brown rice. You can put it in corn tortillas or make it into tacos. But my personal favorite is a sweet potato. So I'm going to pour some of that over. And then the last ingredient in the recipe is avocado. And I don't necessarily put the avocado in the dish because if you're gonna keep it in the fridge, I like the avocado to be fresher, and you know, once it's in the fridge and it's open, it turns like brownish. So I always save that for whenever I am ready to eat. So you can see this nice loaded potato. I've got my avocado here. Let's see, hopefully, oh, it's a good one. All right, so then I just like to kind of mash up my fork in here, and then I just kind of pour it on top like that. So that's seriously how quick and easy this recipe is. If you have cooked rice on hand, which is something that I usually do, I batch make sweet potatoes. Got a couple more over here. I batch make rice. And then that way you can just pull it out of the fridge and just make a meal in 5 minutes or less. So I hope you guys like today's recipe. I will probably post this recipe on my website today so that way you can have the written instructions and ingredients as well, so you can easily access that. But comments if you are going to make this recipe, give it a thumbs up if you like it. And yeah, I'll make some more recipes in the future for you guys. Thanks for joining me today. I will be back for another Facebook Live next week, Tuesday at 12 p.m. Just checking out the comments real quick here. Yep, so my mom asked if the beans and corn have salt, so I kind of mentioned at the beginning that no, I buy cans without it. Michelle, we use garlic and onion in most everything in Mexico too. Yes, awesome. I will save you some, Michelle. All right, thanks guys for joining me, and I will see you next week.